In terms of athletics, I think within the continent we have one of the best facilities. The only problem I see with our country is our fan base. And this one, I normally see it when I'm involved in the Kip Keino Classic. The World Athletic Body would like to see fans in the stadium. Also when we have been awarded such a glamorous tournament. I still would like to urge Kenyans, though I think the last two editions in the Kip Keino Classic, fans have been turning out. Yep. You know, athletics has a lot to do with fans and that colorfulness. When you have the stadium full and, you know, guys cheering up the athletes, I feel Kenya can make it, because other than South Africa, I think Botswana is also doing so well in terms of athletics. Yeah. In their infrastructure. So I feel Kenya can, whenever we move to bid with the likes of the countries we just mentioned, you know, these are countries that have hosted several others. So I think the World Body normally gives opportunities to countries who perhaps have never had that chance. The other day we hosted quite successfully the Under-20 World Championship at Kasarani. So I feel we are in that league. We just need to turn up when we have been awarded such an opportunity.
Yes, do you think we are ready? And if Nairobi wins this, actually, itakuwa ni mara ya first to host such a very big event here, actually, in Africa, you know.
Yeah, I
mean, what's your take on that? And then we can talk about the venue later on.
I think we can. We have what it takes to host this. Kasarani is a good facility. The tartan track is there. Maybe you could argue maybe they can change that. But I think besides that, everything else is ready in Kasarani. They're already renovating it for AFCON. This one is 2029. Could be 2 years down the line after AFCON. And after AFCON. So I don't see why we cannot do it. We do well in athletics. We have huge fan bases. Kip Keino is, I think, a gold standard event.
Yes, yes.
So, and so is World Athletics. Unless, is that a platinum or is it gold? It's also a high-level event, basically. So we have shown with Kip Keino back-to-back successes in terms of hosting it. Africa is ready. Kenya is ready. We have seen Botswana getting the World Relays event that was being hosted a bit earlier on this year. I don't see why we can't do it. And Sebastian Coe had said he will have to, at least one of the two, 29 or 2031, will come to Africa. So whichever we are going to get, I think we are ready. With Ethiopia, I think they also want to host either 2031 or something like that. But I think Kenya has the facilities and we have the resources to actually make it a success.
Now, Athletics Kenya and the government is really supporting this bid now. There was a discussion as to why they chose Kasarani and not Nyayo National Stadium, or even the newly, that is ongoing, built the Talanta Stadium. Arocho, what Kasarani? Because people are saying that Kasarani Bado, we've seen the states that Kasarani Stadium, Eco, the carpet, the track, Bado.
No, let me correct you. It's Raila Amolo Stadium.
Okay.
Talanta was the, when it was Raila Amolo.
Well, all right, the Raila Amolo Stadium.
Thank you. Thank you. Now come with your question.
Now, the question is, why Kasarani and not Nyayo National Stadium? Because we saw the state after Chan, people talked about Kasarani, the state that Kasarani was in. They were comparing it to Nyayo, whereby the two stadiums were renovated, but again, ukiangalia nyasi ya Nyayo compared to Kasarani was a total mess. So people were asking as to why not the Raila Amolo Stadium, because it's something new and it's very modern.
Well, I feel Kasarani is well placed in terms of logistics. It's huge. It has so far had the under-20 athletics done there, so it has been tested. When you compare, and I've always been against Raila Amolo Odinga Stadium being in Nairobi, with all due respect to whoever made that decision. But I feel that we've congested the three stadiums within a radius of about 10 or so kilometers. Why couldn't we have Raila Amolo Odinga Stadium, or whatever the name could have been, in Lamu or in Kajiado? You know, we cannot have everything in Nairobi. I feel that at times we are being too mean to other regions of this country. If we want the entire country to develop, we cannot have everything in Nairobi. Nyayo, Raila Amolo, and Kasarani just within the same radius. But coming back to your question, I feel Kasarani is well placed. Nyayo, for me, even the logistics into Nyayo at times is a problem. The traffic jam that comes with holding such a tournament. But when you take it to Kasarani, it's off the CBD, and that one gives the logistics nightmare that comes with such a tournament. It eases that nightmare. So if you ask me any day, I will go for Kasarani. I hope the train arrangement moving to Raila Molo will be ready, because I'm made to understand there's some train service that will be moving us to the stadium. And this is why I have a problem once again with the way we structure our stadiums. When you move to stadiums outside this continent, each and every stadium, there's a railway. And that's why you see when you, for example, you go to a stadium like Emirates, within 10 or so minutes after the match, everybody has vacated that stadium because there are various exits and times and ways of guys being ferried off the stadium. But when you have a venue like Nyayo where everything else is in the same space, it becomes a nightmare. And there's something I want to say, and I saw it yesterday, and I was somehow disappointed with the sports stadium. You pay the stadium, you also, they've brought in something called cabs. Ya kulipa the gate. For me, I think it's double taxation. I think Kenyans are overtaxed. I go to the stadium, I pay my entry into the stadium. Now, the stadium management is paid for clubs to host their tournaments in that stadium. The amount you receive, they tax it again. If you receive 1 million, they will tax that 1 million after you have given them the charges of that stadium. Then for the guys who come to the stadium, I again pay for the parking through cabs. I think we are overburdened as a country. And it will be a very big problem at Nyayo. Because when guys are moving out, the kind of jam that will be there, I don't know who thought about putting those, they're called what? The barriers to make sure that people pay for their vehicles. If I've paid for the stadium, I've never been to a stadium in this world. I've gone to several stadiums where I pay for the stadium for my parking. No. Once I pay for the stadium, it's assumed that I've paid for the parking. So they need to look at that because it will bring a lot of problems. For example, a big match. The kind of logistical nightmare of guys moving from the stadium, haitakubali watu wangoje, that queue. Yeah. So whoever put that thing there should think twice.
Very, very much. I think the facilities, Talanta, I don't think Raila Odinga.
Yes, please.
Raila Odinga International Stadium. I don't think they have a track. They have a track for athletics. I don't think those ones they do within the stadium, but the other facilities around it do have. Nyayo Stadium capacity-wise compared to Kasarani, of course you can't compare the two. Kasarani is better. Kasarani has hosted like the under-20, like he mentioned before, so it's just a matter of time. The grass, look, it's 2029. It's not next month. So I'm damn sure they'll have made the grass make it look a bit better than it did after Chan. I'm hoping the stadium maintenance will be going on after AFCON, because AFCON is next year, then there's 2 years gap there. We should not be going back to seeing the grass crying out for some water. So maybe they shall do that. Logistically, yes, like you mentioned, it's easier to go to Kasarani compared to Nyayo. I was at the Houston Stadium, the NRG Stadium in Houston. The train drops you like pale kwa gate. Then you just walk. A train drops you right at the gate if you have one. Then you just walk like almost like 500 meters or 1 kilometer max to the stadium. And then if you're going out, then it's also easier. So this is something that we need to check. I don't know how it shall be with the train service that Arocho is talking about from Raila Odinga to maybe town or vice versa. I don't know. We shall wait to see. But logistically, that's something we should be checking when you're putting up this.
Say something about the overtaxing that is being carried on at Nyayo. I think they put it up yesterday. I feel that Kenyans, we are being overtaxed. When I go for a match, once I pay my entry fee, you talk about Boston. Houston yeah. Was there payment for vehicles?
No, okay. For that one, I didn't go using a vehicle, so I just...
You saw vehicles there, did you see?
There are no vehicles there. So you just come in as a fan. Most of them were either getting dropped some distance if you are using public transport, let's say buses. If you are coming via train, of course, it's you alone. There are no vehicles that are being parked around there. So in that particular instance, in normal circumstances, I don't know how they do it. Maybe I should have asked that. But yeah, you pay for entrance, you pay for parking, and then when you're getting out, especially when you're getting out, that's where the nightmare begins. A lot of people have gone.
Yes, imagine 20 or so thousand.
Yeah.
The game has just ended.
Yeah.
And somebody is there picking money from each and every vehicle. That's a nightmare. Whoever thought about that, sure.
Yeah.
And I think before some decisions are made, I think at sometimes public
Yes,
participation
we should not just
very
look at the income that we have to. Let's look at the nightmare that will cause.
Logistically, yeah. That's
Now, before we release Arocho, I think we've got like 16 minutes with you here. Our question of the day was, do you think your team is ready for the new season? And Nyashia said they are very ready, actually. We saw Arsenal yesterday against Manchester City. Let's talk about some of the transfers. Arocho said yesterday he never saw a lot of Bruno Guimaraes, you know. And you've said Elliot Anderson, nothing at all. Let's talk about some of these transfers, remembering that the Premier League is starting this weekend. Arocho, before